School Lunch Revolution. This is a story of Wylie Skidoo, who started a movement while in the grade 2. He was born and raised in a wonderful place, full of big pine trees, lobsters, and lakes. Wylie went to Chickadee School. He had great friends and loved his cat Mule. But every day Wylie was sad, for the food his school served him was terribly bad. Wylie looked down at the food from his school, a greasy grease burger with fries dripping gruel. All of a sudden, thoughts flashed through his head. His heart beat real fast, his face turned real red. His hand slammed the table. The food didn't budge, for it was less food and more of a sludge.
Never again! Not anymore! Kids should be eating food we adore. No, not Candy Crush bars as big as our heads or sweet sugar pops, but real food instead. Food that we've planted, food that we've sown, food that we've cared for, food that we've grown.
Wylie stood up, then marched out of the caff to the principal's office right past the school staff. "Wylie, what is it? Aren't you in lunch? How can I help you?" asked Principal Munch. Wylie spoke strongly. Wylie spoke quick. He spoke from his heart. Words flew from his lips.
I want to eat food not made in a lab, not shipped in a truck, not covered in flab. Principal Munch, with all due respect, this food at our school is not fit for my pet.
Principal Munch leaned back in his chair. He had a wide smile and ran his hands through his hair. "Well, then, Wylie, what do you suggest to fix this big problem and make lunch the best?" Wylie took a deep breath, keeping his cool.
I want to grow food right here at our school.
"If you want a school garden, I'll support you quite highly. But it will take time. Wave your playtime, bye-bye-ly. Go home, think it over, Wylie Skidoo. Tomorrow an answer I'll want from you." Wylie spent the day thinking, thought after thought. His brain was tied tightly. It felt like a knot.
Maybe I can't do this. What do I know? I could do it next year, or just go with the flow. My friends will be gaming, having fun eating gummies, and I will be straining my back and my tummy. But it's too important. I must take a stand. The food at our school is a toxic wasteland.
The next day Wylie found Principal Munch. He held out his hand and said,
I'll fix our school lunch.
He was given a spot next to the field full of sports. It was crowded with classmates. They were quite out of sorts. With balls whizzing past and running all around, Wylie began his school garden. His shovel rammed the ground. He dug and he dug. His hands really hurt. His legs ached so much. What back-breaking work! "Hey, what you doin'?" asked a big kid walking by. Wylie told her his story, and she gave him high five. She was an expert, a real gardening pro, and gave him some tips like how to shovel and hoe. So the days strung together, Wylie showed up and did not play. He put in the work, and the plants made their way. He watered them often and picked all the weeds. The big kid helped too, her name Maya Mean. "My friends call me Maya. You can call me that too. Wylie, you're so determined. I'm inspired by you." As they continued to work, more kids helped by the bunch. One said, "Your story's gone viral. They're sick of their lunch. These kids want to grow gardens where they live just like you, on sports fields and playgrounds and rooftops with views." Wow, Wylie thought, there are kids just like me, wanting food that tastes good and is chemical-free. They kept on working. They watered and weeded, but one day they showed up and the plants were mistreated. They were stomped on the ground and yanked all about.
They might never recover,
Wylie cried out. Then it started to rain. It poured giant drops. Wylie sobbed in his hands.
Oh, my wonderful crops!
But soon Maya showed up and sent an urgent text. Quickly kids by the hundreds helped repair the big mess. They tenderly gave the plants what they needed, and slowly but surely the problems retreated. After months of hard work, the food had grown steady. The corn and the carrots and the cukes, they were ready. Wylie, Maya, and the others gathered round. They harvested the food. There were thousands of pounds. They cleaned and they cooked and invited the masses to eat healthy food that didn't give gases. Wylie finally sat down with a smile on his face. Maya sat with him.
Will you look at this place?
The calf was full of food that they grew. The tables were covered with salads and stews. Everyone was there, all the students and the mayor, every teacher, all the parents, even famous sports players. Principal Munch silenced the crowd. He needed to speak, for it was profound. Today we are gathered to celebrate and feast on food from our garden, an incredible feat. The students did this. What a marvelous crew! But it wouldn't have happened without a student in grade 2. He believed in a future that we didn't see. We're so proud of you. We love you, Wylie. The crowd roared with cheers. They clapped and they hugged. They stomped their feet loud. They danced and they sung. Wylie stood up, raised his fist to the sky, clutching a carrot, a twinkle in his eye. With all of his voice and all of his heart, he sang out his anthem, asking the crowd to take part.
We want food that we've planted, food that we've sown, food that we've cared for, food that we've grown.
The end.